There are places, untouched by any map, where time stands still and the unexplained awaits. Are you ready to step into the world of forgotten secrets?
Located in southern Peru, between the Andes Mountains and the Pacific Ocean, the Nazca Plateau stretches across one of the driest regions on Earth. It's here, in this sun-scorched desert, that humanity's most mysterious ground, drawings were etched, not to be seen from the ground, but from the sky. From this height, the Earth speaks in lines and silence, stretching for hundreds of meters. These figures, the hummingbird, the monkey, the spider, were not made to be admired from the ground. They were drawn for something far above. And as Elias stands alone at the cliff's edge, perhaps he isn't just observing history. Perhaps he's witnessing a message, still waiting for a reply. More than 300 massive geoglyphs carved directly into the Earth's surface, spanning nearly 1,000 square kilometers. They were made by carefully scraping away the dark, oxidized stones that blanket the desert, revealing the lighter soil beneath. What's left is a negative space masterpiece. Sharp, continuous lines that have remained untouched by wind and time. Some are simple geometric shapes, spirals, trapezoids, zigzags, and lines that stretch dead straight for miles. Others are unmistakably artistic. A hummingbird with wings outstretched, a monkey curling its tail, a spider with legs drawn in perfect proportion. Still others defy easy classification. Humanoid figures with oversized heads, strange hands and eyes staring toward the heavens. Many of these drawings are hundreds of feet long, some the size of football fields. And yet, they were made from the ground. There are no mountains nearby tall enough to see them in full. No way for the Nazca people to have stood above their own work. And yet, they got it right. How? That's where the mystery begins. The precision, the scale, the foresight to create something that could only be appreciated from the skies long before flight even existed. These are not just random patterns. They are deliberate, meaningful, and they are still speaking to us and perhaps to something beyond us. This is Secret Realms. Long before ink met parchment, before satellites and science, there was the Nazca people. Between 500 BCE and 500 CE, they thrived in the unforgiving deserts of southern Peru. Without machines, they mastered irrigation. Without writing, they told stories in thread, pottery, and in lines. And somewhere during their quiet rise, they began carving into the earth, not to be seen by their neighbors, but perhaps by the gods above. The technique was deceptively simple, yet astonishingly effective. By removing the thin layer of dark, sun-baked stones that covered the desert, the Nazca revealed the lighter soil beneath. With wooden tools and bare hands, they traced shapes hundreds of meters long, without modern maps, machines, or even a high vantage point. And yet, the lines remain, etched in a land where it never rains, where time forgets, but stone remembers. With no aerial view, no blueprint, and only the desert beneath their feet, the Nazca carved, line by line. They shaped creatures that could only be seen from above. A monkey with a curling tail, a spider with perfect symmetry, even a feline etched quietly into the sand. They weren't just drawing animals. They were scripting meaning. In every curve, a prayer. In every form, a myth. These were symbols meant for gods, not men. They may look random, but some of these lines point exactly where the sun rises during the solstice. Others track the journey of celestial bodies across the sky. Coincidence or design? To the Nazca, the heavens weren't just beautiful, they were necessary. These markings may have mapped time, tracked seasons, or aligned with rituals that began when the first light touched the earth. Here the desert wasn't empty. It was a calendar, carved in stone. He had no telescope, no compass, only wood, stone, and wonder. With this simple frame, he watched the stars shift, the sun rise, The heavens turn, each alignment a signal, each star a whisper. Perhaps this was more than astronomy. It was devotion, a sacred rhythm carved into memory, and in a world without clocks, the sky was the only time that mattered.
The Nazca lived in a world without rain. Crops withered, rivers vanished. Survival danced on the edge of drought, so they didn't just wait for the sky to bless them. They carved their hope into the earth, giant symbols, offerings, alignments. Around fires they prayed. They sang to the wind. They called on gods not with temples, but with the land itself. Every line, a whisper to the heavens. Every shape, a plea for water. Not all the Nazca lines lie flat on the desert floor. One stands, carved into the side of a hill, with a round head, wide eyes, and an arm raised skyward. This figure has become one of Nazca's greatest enigmas. To some, it's simply a man, but to others, it's a messenger, a figure waving not to the earth, but to the stars. They call him the astronaut. They stretch for miles, perfectly straight, eerily precise. Not symbols, not animals, just lines. Some are hundreds of meters long, running parallel like ancient airstrips. To ancient alien theorists, these were not meant for humans, but for those who came from the sky. Were these guides, landing zones? Or is that idea just another modern myth, sketched into the past by our imagination?
Imagine this: a vast desert, silent, empty, then a shadow overhead. To those who believe these lines were not just art, they were signals, coordinates, messages. The Nazca, in their own way, were reaching out, not just to gods, but to beings from beyond the sky. A giant hummingbird, visible only from the air. A figure waving at the heavens. Were these invitations, or echoes of a visitation that had already occurred? He stands where no answer echoes, where the earth speaks only in lines, and the sky replies with silence. These shapes, hummingbirds, monkeys, endless runways, they've waited here for centuries. Not fading, not forgotten, just waiting. Waiting for someone to understand. Waiting for the message to reach whoever or whatever it was meant for. And as the wind moves across the desert, the lines remain. From above, they stretch like messages, frozen in time. Ancient, enigmatic, enduring. We may never know who they were truly for. But perhaps that was never the point. Perhaps they weren't made to be solved, but to be remembered. A reminder that even in silence, the earth still speaks. The earth holds stories too vast for words, and some of them are still waiting to be heard.